Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and welcome to this Friday night edition of the Wacky Woo. With me tonight, of course, my friend Joseph of Snips. You can find him at JSNIP4 on YouTube, and you can also find Julie, my co-host, at Maison Jupiter here on YouTube. And finally, the amazing Richard, Woo Woo Dude, at woowoodude.com. Richard, Julie, Joe, welcome back to the show. How are you guys?
Good.
Hey, everybody.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to have a good time tonight. Folks, Penny Kelly was supposed to join us tonight, but she is in the launch of her brand new book. And so she's really busy with that one, and she sends her apologies, but she sent me a really nice cover of her new book here, The Revival, Path to the New Earth, New Human by Penny Kelly. So she'll be on the show probably next week when I come back from my mini vacation to talk about that. So stay tuned for all developments there with Penny Kelly. And please join me in wishing Penny a lot of luck and success and abundance with this brand new book endeavor of hers. Julie, tonight we are here on a new moon. Let's start with that. We were forecasting this a little while back in the Astro Woo that we recorded last month for this month, and here we are tonight in this full Virgo new moon energy, August 27th. Of course, we're in the orb now. Let's set the tone here for the audience members tonight. What's the energy, and how is this going to be manifesting for all of us?
Okay, so first of all, we're in Virgo season. So meaning Virgo is all about health. It's all about also work on a daily basis. So health might be the theme that's going to be on the mainstream for everybody. So I think that's the case. I don't really watch mainstream media, but I think it's pretty much what they have to say these days. And this new moon is exactly square Mars and Gemini. So I think we're going to start hearing about maybe new health restrictions. I'm sure I heard a couple here in Quebec, Canada. They're thinking about putting some more rules about health. And also what's interesting about this new moon is that it's the planet Venus, which talks about money, is squaring the planet Uranus and the North Node. So when I wrote this, I thought it was going to be maybe the last big drop for cryptos before going back up. So you guys let me know if I was right saying that. And I think the main point about this new moon is going to be the information war continuing regarding health. So and since it's squaring the planet Mars, I think we're going to see a lot of people rebelling. I know we're feeling very reactive these days because also of this Mars square. So people are very aggressive, very reactive. Everybody's tired of this bullshit. I know. And also we got to watch out for our personal health and also maintaining our energy boundaries. Oh, JC, you're muted.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Julie. Appreciate that. I'm going to be playing with the microphones here. As you can probably tell from the clarity of Woo Woo Dude there, he's got a new computer set up. And so we were playing around with the microphone and speaker settings here just before the show. And we're trying to avoid some of the echoes here as we retune our calibration for the show. Joe, let me bring you on here. Before you get into the dreamscape of your dreams last night, what do you make of this Virgo new moon? Julie was talking about a couple of things in here. We might see this rebellious energy. This kind of falls into what Cliff High was talking about here, this period of time we're walking in of the big ugly here. But also this idea that perhaps we're at the end here of the downward pressure on crypto, that we don't have much room to go down there. And if it does, maybe very short-lived before we go back up. Do you want to touch these energies a little bit? And I'll ask Richard also to chime in after you. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I'll talk on the crypto. So I still, got the dream that I got. I saw XRP at 20 cents. I saw $408 Ethereum. And I think we kind of let it slip on one of the things. So we can talk about that now. Silver, $6. Gold was hundreds. Again, you probably won't be able to buy it for that price when it happens. But like I saw all this stuff, and these were separate dreams too. So it's like, well, hasn't happened yet. And there's been times where I had to wait a while before the dream hit, the numbers hit, like when Theta was, $12, $13, $14. And I'm like, wow, I just saw $2.39. People thought I was nuts. But it took a while, like a year almost, I think, to finally hit. But I got the dream of XRP and stuff in January. So, I
Mhm.
mean, we're 6, 7, 8, well, now we're 8, 9 months into it.
Yeah.
So, I'm just going to say, you know what? I've got too many dreams. So I still think it's going to happen. But my whole thought was it would be something quick, and it may be everything. Again, it could be some kind of weird event in New York that causes stuff, or, it'll just be quick.
Something
And then
with the satellites,
the
maybe.
satellite thing, yeah, again, Space
Yeah.
Force took over recently. What's that about? The satellites. And so, anyways, yeah, I think we're going to have just some kind of singular event, if you will, maybe that may cause other things to cascade, but it's going to affect, I think, all markets.
Mhm.
And you better have your orders in place to try to scoop it up, because I don't think you'll be able to just go in and start buying at that moment, because there may be troubles. So
Right.
that's, I've got no new crypto information. I did get dreams not too long ago about a Theta trade and a Shiba trade. They all hit perfectly, and I've got
Mhm.
no new information. So spirits basically tell me, we'll just sit tight now. Put that money
Mhm.
back into your XRP orders that you took it out of to do the trade. Well, now
Right.
I've got, a bit more money to play with for XRP. So I think it's coming soon. But I say soon. It could be September or October, to tell you the truth.
Right.
Like, not necessarily the moon thing for me, but
Well,
I don't.
we can get it back into the eclipse season in October. That is also going to have a huge impact on our financial system. We just talked about that in the Astro Wu finance show we recorded earlier today, guys. You can go check that out now. It's on the Insider Access Pass and also available for you guys on pay-per-view. But let me get Richard in on this as well. Richard, in terms of this new moon energy, again, going back to this idea of feeling restlessness and this rebellious activity, what are you picking up also in global consciousness? We're seeing that the powers that be, they're desperate here to change the channel, maybe create an event that would be in their favor, but that's very delicate right now, seeing as the tensions are very high, and we're also moving into this new alignment here for the fall, for this big last clash between the centralization and decentralization powers. But what do you make of this here, this new moon, and how perhaps humans are going to be a little bit more rebellious than they were in the past? Again, watch your language also for tonight's show. We're still on YouTube. Go ahead, Richard.
Well, that's why I always pause. Okay. I try to be very careful with respect. I know how quickly everybody can get wiped off. So when you see me pausing, it's not really trying to put everybody, "Oh, what's he going to say?" It's more like, okay, how to say this correctly. Um, the things that you're seeing with what Julie said is absolutely occurring worldwide with the way people are rebellious. This is happening worldwide. This is a worldwide event. Um, what you're watching happening, and I don't care what country you're in, that they may try to do something and try to create issues with their people and try to hide things. But haven't you noticed that everything they do gets exposed? Do you remember going way back when I told you that the tree of evil will be knocked over?
Mhm.
But every
Yeah.
root's got to be exposed. So no matter what they do, it's like a mirror of protection when you put that spell around you to reflect back. That's what's happening. And as they try to um, turn the page in their direction, the page turns back the other way and it slaps them in the face. And it's an incredible thing. Now, it's probably been about a week. I, oh boy, what a life I live. I had a visit by spirit, and you youngins, and I call all three of you youngins, okay, probably never heard of this person, but maybe you have. And he's been on the other side for a while, and he was a sportscaster named Howard Cosell. Have you ever heard of Howard Cosell? Okay. Well, if you ever listen to him, he has a way he can talk, and he followed the fight scene a lot, and Muhammad Ali and stuff. And he came forward yeah, that's the baby. He came forward the other night, and I went, "What is he doing here?" And he said it just like this. He says, "Get ready to rumble. It will be a September to remember." And I went, "Dude." And then I knew what that went to. Do you remember when I was getting the visions, even before the war started, of Putin And the last one where Putin came out in the ring, and again, this is before any war, and he punched the head of NATO right in the face, and it turned into a toaster, right? You go, what the hell is this? And then dollar bills started coming out, right? And all the people up in the stands from all over the world were watching it, but nobody came down to get the dollar, right? So something happened to the dollar. And how do you take out NATO? You take out the dollar. September will be a month to remember. Why the hell else would he have shown up except for the fight scene? I believe we're about to see something that's going to have to do with another big country or whatever that's going to say, yeah, I don't think we really need the dollar anymore. I think we'll do this instead.
Yeah.
And Joe,
there's two. I just saw it today. I think on a headline, maybe in Zero Hedge or something, and it was like, oh, Russia and somebody, I forgot who it was. We pretty much don't need the dollar anymore. Today.
Who was the other person?
It was Russia, I think, and some other big country. I don't remember the other country. I don't think it was China, but it was some other one.
All right. My feeling to this, and I really tried to put a lot of discernment in it, I really believe it has to do with oil. All right, because that's the knockout.
Who'd you say? I didn't hear that.
That it has to do with oil.
Oil.
That's my gut, because the whole world has got to use the dollar to buy oil, and I don't know who it's going to be, but I have that funny feeling. And for Howard Cosell to step in, come on, dude, that's almost as bad as your dreams, Joe. What happened to you, buddy, the other night?
Okay, we'll get into that in just a moment here. I'm looking for this amazing. Somebody made a funny comment, and I want to bring it back up, but you guys is going so fast. Hold on. Did I just lose it? Oh, this is it. Yes for yes. These guys are full out wackos, except Julie. She's perfect.
Of course we are. What the hell are you listening for?
Of course we're wackos. The show is called Wacky Woo for a reason. But going back to the perfection, that is Julie here. Julie, speak to this very quickly here also. We just recorded the Astro Woo. We were looking into the month of September. Richard, of course, with the Howard Cosell theme here of We're Going to Rumble. We're looking at a big month of September also. What can you recap with the audience? Is there a slide in particular you want me to share also with the audience? What can you share with them?
Well, I always talked about, since we started this year, about the fall being like a key period in the year where everything is starting to happen in a really big way. So September, first of all, for me, is the square between Saturn and Uranus. It's the last one we're going to feel. And basically, this is like the old world fighting with the new world energies. Decentralization power versus centralized. So I know I spoke a lot about this transit, but it's so important because it influences all of our financial systems. So every time we have a clash between those two planets, we have either depression, either like a real estate bubble. We have something big coming out with the financial industry. So this is going to be really big. We're going to feel this square all months of September and all of October. So this is basically the powers that are going to try as much as they can to pull on the timeline of our next future regarding decentralized assets. So it means crypto, silver, gold, also the fate of the dollar, the dying dollar. So everything is going to happen while we have this this fight between those two energies. So that's September. We're going to start feeling those. So there's going to be also new regulations because this is kind of the Saturn energy. This is the powers that are still in power, trying to pull as much as they can on our freedoms, which is Uranus. So there's going to be for sure new rules. It's going to be harder to invest in cryptos, to invest in precious metals. So this is starting in September. But October, this is the start of the eclipse season. So every time we have eclipses, this means really big changes collectively speaking. And those eclipses are happening in the financial axis. So the next eclipse that we're going to have is October 25th. So that means all the month of October, we're going to be under the influence of this eclipse. And I feel like this is going to be the big crumbling of the financial system. So for sure, this is big. Every time we're looking at big collective events, like a bank crash, we're going to look at eclipses in astrology. So this is major.
It's big time, ready to rumble. Jim Montgomery says, bring it on, dude. Okay, Jim, yes. And you know what was funny? Penny Kelly, when she was last on the show, she talked about that the dollar had already died, but we were going to have the funeral probably in September or October. So this lines up here with everything you guys are saying. Joe, a hell of a lead in here to your experience in your dream last night. You have the mic. Explain what the dream was and how perhaps that could also manifest for the audience watching this here. These are energies we're dealing with, and we're interpreting these energies. A lot of us are feeling this anxiety, this dread feeling. I've been getting a lot of emails from our subscribers telling us the same thing. How is that manifesting now in your dreamscape, Joe?
I haven't got any kind of like, 9/11 part 2 thing. I got the one with you in it. We talked about that last time. That was not too long ago. I haven't got any more new information on that, but I had one hell of a experience last night in a dream. But hang on a second. My electric company's calling me. Hang on. I think it's actually a scam call.
I was
Okay.
Yeah.
I
was going to say maybe you were on strike and you weren't paying your hydro bill as the 75.
Yeah, that's what it's like. Your thing will be, cut tonight or something due to
right.
not non-payment. I'm going, yeah, okay, it's auto debited out of my bank account. Nice try.
All right, go ahead, Joe.
So I mean, I kind of got a long story to talk about right now because I was just in Utah the week of like the 12th and 13th, a few days before that, which was a Friday and Saturday. There's a big, like, they call it the Gathering at Moon Lake, and it's in Utah. A lot of old history, Bigfoot sightings, UFO sightings, treasure hunting stories. I mean, just anybody who's anybody or nobody just got a story to tell can kind of go out there and tell their story, and it's kind of gotten quite large. And I'm like, I've got to go this year. I heard about it last year. I didn't get to go. I got to go. So I go out there. Like, I hope you're ready to sit for a minute, because this is I had a contact experience out there.
I know.
And it feeds into the dream. So if this is, I'll go for it. So
right, go for it, because a lot of people are interested in that. You and I have been talking about this. Cliff's been talking about the fact that we are going to all be talking about ET in a big way here moving forward. And what we've been getting, Janine, Julie, and myself also in all of our readings, is that it's already happening now, just more and more, maybe privately, but eventually here it's going to be happening en masse. We're very curious, all of us, to hear your story. So go ahead, Joe, take your time.
All right. So I get out there. It's a Friday and Saturday thing. And I mean, I'm not there to speak. I was just there with my buddy who is part of the, what they call Blind Frog Ranch or whatever. He's intimately involved in that. Anyways, he's out there. He's a guest speaker. I'm going to go out there, whatever. So it's like Friday, and it's from like 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then Saturday is the same thing, but all day Saturday. Anybody can go up and speak. And, so it's Friday night, and I went there with the whole family. So I said, we'll kind of make a little vacation out of this. I go, but we're out in a town that's really small, and like there's petroglyphs and trails and things you can go, and it's beautiful. And we did that, but it's like, okay, now what? So I said, why don't you guys, I'll just get another Airbnb. We'll rent another car. I'll drive you guys back to Salt Lake City, and you guys could just have a good old time there doing all kinds of stuff that you guys would definitely rather do than what I'm doing out here. So I'm by myself at the house, whatever. I got the whole house to myself out there, this Airbnb. So it's Friday night, heading home, full moon, right out there. I mean, just right in the sky, man. And it's about 10:30 or so. I'm heading back on a half-hour drive, and I'm like talking out loud, in the car, and like because I already know spirit, you can talk in your head or out loud. It doesn't matter. They, you know, whatever, they hear you. So I'm like, you know, man, I'd like a contact experience, you know, connect with me, and like, you know, I can handle it. I'm ready for it. I really would love this. I'd love to see a spaceship or something, or, you know, like I'm just having this, you know, conversation with nobody in the car. And I get home to this house and nothing happened at all. Didn't see anything. And I start to walk up to the door, and I realize, of course, all the lights are off. I never turned the lights on because it was daylight when I left. And I go, oh, whatever, I'll go turn some lights on. But as I'm getting up to the door, I start feeling this like energy in my head. And I recognize that as when I have a really powerful, like psychic dream where I'm going, like the 9/11 one, part 2, or for example, boy, I wake up and I can't go back to bed. That energy's all over me. And, you know, I'm going, okay, that's not just a dream. I know that. So it's that kind of feeling. It's that kind of energy, but it's slightly different. So it's almost like it wasn't
the one you had at ESETI. Also, remember the whole side of your head was tingling? Okay.
Yeah, no, because that was kind of not really a pain, but it was just yeah, it's completely different. I don't know what the hell that was, honestly. But anyway, so I get up there and I get this thing, and I'm like, I recognize that as like when I get a psychic dream, I go, but it's not like my guides. Spirit guides, it's the same every time because it's always them. This is like somebody else, like, or something else. Similar, not the same. I'm a little bit uncomfortable. And open the door, turn on some lights, see what I'm doing, turn on the hallway light, walk into the master bedroom, and I go, God, it really feels like somebody's here with me. Like somebody's in the house. You know what I mean? Like that kind of feeling. And I just sit there for a minute, just kind of like, oh, you know, maybe it's just you. No. Go check the other bedrooms. Like, just get that out of your way because you know you're going to be thinking about it all night if you don't. So I go check the 2 bedrooms. There's nobody here. Of course, it's just me. But I'm going, I can still feel like someone's here with me. Like it's not going away. And it's a little uncomfortable. It's not, I don't feel evilness, you know, evil. It's something different, and it's making me feel a little uncomfortable. So I go right into the bathroom in the master bedroom, brushing my teeth and spitting and stuff. You know, I'm like, just sitting there feeling like, why does it feel like I'm sharing my same soul space, body space with something else? Like someone's with me, mixed in with me. Like it's not next to me. It's with me. And I go, God, I kind of don't want to look at the mirror right now. I'm like, so I slowly look up and I'm looking at myself, but I feel like something else is looking at myself through me. And I go, oh boy, that felt pretty uncomfortable. That's getting real uncomfortable. Still didn't feel evil, but it was, boy, this feels uncomfortable. And I go, okay, I completely sense you. Like, I know I asked for contact on the way home. This is really uncomfortable for me. This is really strong. Your energy is really, really strong. It's making me feel really uncomfortable. So please I need you to really back off. I feel it kind of back off. I go, oh, okay. So I turn around and go pee real quick. And then I'm turning around to go wash my hands. I go, don't look at the mirror yet. Like, do exactly what you just did. Like, wash your hands and just, okay, look up. And I'm like, okay, it's just me looking at me. I still feel a little bit of this energy thing this whole time. And ever since I asked it to back off, that backed off to an extent too, but I still feel it. And I go, okay, thank you for, you know, listening and, you know, taking what I said into consideration. I thank you. You know, I was like, look, I know I wanted contact. I go, this is kind of not what I was expecting, but, you know, it's late at night and like, I'm ready to go to bed now. Like, I don't know if I want this right now. So I go and sit on the bed and I go, oh, go turn the fan back on in the bathroom because I like fan noise no matter where I sleep. And I was doing this every night, you know, when I was there. So, oh yeah, I forgot, turn on the fan. Shut the door in the bathroom because it's a really loud fan. So I sit on the bed.
You don't just put the fan when I'm snoring in the room next door. You also
no,
do that
yeah,
when I'm
no,
not there.
no, it's always there.
Okay.
Yeah. So I left the hallway light on, right? So I can see the light through the door. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to leave that on because without it, it's absolutely pitch black. Number one, I can't find the way to the bathroom in the middle of the night. Number two, I'm not feeling real happy and like confident right now about what the hell's happening. I think I would like a little bit of light somewhere. So I just left it alone. I even locked the door. I'm like, you know what? I'm just locking this damn door in the bedroom. I'm just not feeling comfortable. So I sit on the bed and I'm like, I can feel your presence still. Like I was like, I feel you real strong. And I was like, look, I know I asked for the contact, and I was hoping to see something on the way home, like a spaceship, a light, something, that nature. I go, not something that's invisible. I can't see. I can sense you. I said, us humans, man, it makes us feel really uncomfortable. Middle of the night, can't see nothing. I feel like someone's here with me. It's just really uncomfortable for us. And I'm really tired. And I'm like, no, I just got back late, and this is kind of not the time, I guess, is what I'm saying, even though I asked for it. And again, I thank you for coming in, but I really need you to just back way off tonight, and maybe in the morning, wake up, whatever, like maybe we can try again, and I'll be on the way to the place and, something. I go, but again, thank you so much. And thank you for respecting my boundaries I asked earlier. Thank you. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, I feel pretty good. The thing backed way off. I have a little connection going on, but it was like way low, and I go, it just backed way the hell. It's still connected, but it's like it way went away. I go, okay. So I of course I'm tossing and turning for a little bit, thinking about all the shit that's just happened. I'm by myself in this house, in the dark. This thing is, it's like the freaking scary movie, But I'm like, all right. So I go to bed, fall asleep. Nothing happened. Everything's fine. I wake up middle of the night. I don't know what time it is. It's dark, so it can't be too awfully early in the morning. So I kind of sit up. And I don't know if I might have been right then where I'm going, oh man, I've got freaking vertigo. And it was powerful. And I was like, whoa, okay. So I sat up slower. I was like, okay, hey, take it easy. And I feel that super strong energy. And I'm like, damn it. It must be like, okay, it's morning time. Let's go. I'm here. You said morning, so I'm like, wow, it's really strong. And I go, that's what woke me up. Okay. I don't really have to pee that bad. I didn't hear any sounds. Like, okay, well, now that I'm awake, let me go ahead and go pee anyway. So I go in the bathroom, go pee, come back out of the bathroom, and it's still dark, but I realize it's about 5 in the morning or so, or almost 5 or something like that. And I'm like, well, I don't have to be there early, that's for sure. I got time to sleep still, and I think I do want to go back to bed. So I get right back to the bed, and I go, all of a sudden, I just get this thought or feeling like, I don't want to hear that damn fan noise anymore. I'm done with it for now. Like, turn it off. I don't want to hear it right now. Which was strange. So I go back in the bathroom. I shut the fan off. Go back, sit on the bed. I go to lay down. And oh my God, the most powerful vertigo, dizzy, whole room spinning I've ever felt in my entire life. Which I don't get that often. It's very rare for me to get that. It was like nuts, next level. And then so I sit back up and I was like, oh my God, I'm getting nauseous. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, okay, it's calming down. Okay. I was like, holy shit. I'm like, and I feel this thing super strong, and I'm going, damn, I think that's what's causing this. And I go, wow. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm awake now. I'm like, I was kind of wanting to go back to bed. I was like, it's still not light out. It's still not, I'm still kind of tired. I'd like to go back to bed. I go, but I really, really feel your presence. You're really, really strong. And it's like the closer you get or whatever, it's like the more kind of uncomfortable it makes me feel. And you let me sleep all night like I asked. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. But we're getting close to the morning, but we're not there yet. Like, you need a little bit more time, please. And just again, please just back off. And again, okay, I feel it kind of go away. All right. So I kind of lay back down, and I'm like, I took it slow because I didn't want to catch any vertigo again on the way down. So move my head around. I'm like, yeah, okay. I think I'll just lay here. Now I'm like, oh man, I can't go back to bed. There's no way. So I'm just sitting there for a minute, and then I hear the sound of somebody breathing outside the bedroom door. I mean, like human breath, just steady, calm, not scary, just a very calm, gentle breathing. And I go, is that the sprinklers? Because they come on almost every day here, and early. And I go, well, let's just sit and listen, because I'll know in just a second. You know,
Joe,
effing
Joe,
sprinkler on.
hold on. Everybody in the chat is going, Joe, you're killing us with the suspense, man. This is crazy.
Sorry.
Okay.
You got to listen.
Okay.
So
I love it. Keep going.
So I'm like waiting and listening intensely now, quietly, and I'm like, it's somebody breathing. And I'm like, it's not scary, but I said, okay, I can hear you now. I can hear you breathing outside the door. Matter of fact, thanks for not doing it inside the door with me in here, because that'd probably spook me a little bit. I go, but again, like, let's just wait until the morning, and like, I'm just not ready for this right now. I know I asked for it, but this is a little much more than I was expecting. So it stops. I feel it kind of pull away again, and I'm like, okay, now I'm wide awake. So I'm sitting there and I go, why did it breathe outside the door? Well, I've never told you guys the story in full of our treasure hunt with JC and Dave. The experience I had after they left, I called my wife in to stay an extra week with me because I had to stay an extra week. I was waiting on a device to come in from overseas. And we went up on the mountain, and I'm showing her the spot where we are digging and all this stuff. And I'm going to get this scan with this device to see if there's a void. And I go to turn it on, and I'm about to press the button to start it. And all of a sudden, I hear the sound of the biggest bear breathing you ever heard in your life. In a desert mountain where there are no bears. And my friend who lived, our friend who lives out there is like, I've been out there for 20-something years. I've never seen a freaking bear out there. And I can't see it, but I know it's like right over there. So me and my wife are like panicked. Like, oh my God. She goes, you got your gun, don't you? And I go, no. This is back in 2019, by the way, for those listening. And so I'm like, no, I left it in the Jeep. Like there's never any kind of animal like that up here. Then it breathes again. And then I start yelling like, hey, bear, get out of here, bear. Like I'm trying to scare it away wherever it is because I can't see it, but I can hear it's very close. And then I realize, where's it going to go? Jump off the cliff? Like it has to come back to you to get out of here. And I go, oh my God. Now I'm like panicked. So we grab shit. We're running out of there. I get down to the bottom. My wife fell and bloodied up her knees on this one spot, like scratched them pretty good. Get down to the Jeep. She's sitting in there. And I go, oh my God, I got the drone. So I went and tried to find this thing. Couldn't find it. I mean, I flew for a long time and couldn't find it. And I go, damn, because no one's going to believe me. So I go, Evelyn, I'm going back up there because I have to get the scan. I went through all this shit to get this damn thing here. I'm going up. It ran off, apparently. I'm not, So I go back up, take my sweet time, get to the spot. I heard nothing. I sat there for a couple minutes just listening. I hear nothing. It's peaceful and quiet like it always is. I go to turn that damn thing on again, and I'm sitting there and I go, okay, I'm about to press the button. Here I go. And I didn't get to press it yet. Once again, boom. And I go, oh my God, it's in the same spot, but there's nothing up there. Like I should be able to see this thing. And I'm like, what is this? There's a spirit up here messing with me, tell me not to do that. Like this is sacred ground. And I go, well, I don't know, so I'm not going to do it. So I just left, and I go, Evelyn, you're not going to believe this. Did it again. So I called 2 different Indian people, Lakota Indian, Navajo Indian. What the hell was this? They both tell me, ask me a bunch of questions, and then come to the conclusion, it's not an Indian spirit. It's the real bear spirit in our culture. It's a real thing. If that thing came to you and presented itself in the manner you just talked about, where it just let you hear it breathe, to us, that is one of the most honorable events that can happen to us. And I go, dude, I'm not even Indian. Like I just, and they're like, it doesn't matter. So I'm like, wow, okay. So then the crystal that we touched and got dreams and thing off of, I go and see that thing on my way home that day. And it gives me a dream that night. Yes, basically what they told you is true. And I go, son of a bitch. So I get home to Florida. 2 weeks later, I'm thinking about everything. I'm in my backyard. I talk out loud. Hey, bear spirit, if you can hear me, I know what it is now. I'm sorry I ran off and all that. I kind of ruined it, but I'm ready for it. Please do it. And so 2 days later, there's a very gentle breathing under my bedroom door. My wife just missed it this time because she went to the bathroom and came back, and I was talking. And she goes, what'd you say? And I go, I think Charlie, our dog's at the door. Just open it, let him in. She opens it. There's no dog. He's downstairs sleeping, sound asleep in his bed. I go, what the hell? And then I realized the sound of that breath was big and powerful, not little tiny ass Charlie, 13-pound Charlie dog. And I go, oh my God, I forgot. I asked 2 days ago. It just did it again. So back to Utah. Why did this human voice thing breathe outside my door? Because it already knew the bear experience is how that happened with me. So it decided I'll do something he's used to for his calming sake or whatever, to keep him calm, because he's a little agitated right now with the contact experience. So I'll just breathe outside his door like he had already happened. Which of course begs the question, well, how did that thing know that? Because they're all connected. So that happened. I call Woo Dude. He talks to me like, he's like, well, you're connected right now. I think it's still with you. I go, actually, I do too, because I feel that energy. I'm about to drive off and eat on the way to the place. And he goes, well, ask it. You can ask it questions telepathically. If it's there, and it is, I goes, I know it's there. I said, well, I can feel it. And he goes, ask it some questions. And I'm thinking, I know I got this frequency machine and it has really helped my foot, but it's not 100%, but it's way better than it's ever been. So I said to myself in my mind, can you feel my body? Can you feel this problem in my left foot? Are you capable? Would you please heal it? I didn't get any kind of answer. 5 seconds later, Woo-Doo goes, oh, you should ask it to heal your foot. I go, yeah, figures you'd say that. I just did 5 seconds ago, of course. So we end up hanging up, and I end up asking a couple questions. And then what I want to know was, are you the beings or whatever that are related to the area of Skinwalker Ranch? Number one. Number two, how long have you been coming here? How long have you been here? And number three, what exactly are you doing here? So before I can even get the question out in my mind, the first word comes out in my mind, they answered it. And I asked, what are you the ones that Skinwalker? Yes. Okay. How long? Eons. Eons? You've been in this area for eons. Okay. Next question. What do you do? I can't even get the question out. And I forget the exact answer they gave now, but it was something like science, data, study, blah, 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 just that kind of stuff. And then somebody, I think, called me right after that. And then I took the phone and then by the time I got out there, okay, everybody's there. I'm talking to people, friends and stuff, a couple of friends, and I stopped the communication. But it was interesting that I got these kind of quick answers in my mind. So all that happened, and I kept, for the next few days, man, I was having vertigo. I ended up going back to Salt Lake City. I'm done with this thing. We're going to stay in Salt Lake City for a few days. I'll enjoy the family and stuff, do stuff with family time. And I'm just getting that vertigo. It's hitting me a lot, and I'm feeling this thing again. I'm like, man, this thing's still kind of it's with me, then it's gone. It's with me, and it's gone. And then so I get back home to Florida. It kind of goes away, and I'm like, all right. But then I'm still, okay, no, it's back again. I feel the energy. I'm like, whatever thing is, it's kind of something's going on here now. So, Woo Dude ends up calling me. He goes, whatever that was came to me. And, I had a conversation with him. You got to really, really, really be careful not what you ask for, but the words you use. They don't take things like, we do. It's if the word has a meaning, that's what they take it as. Did you tell them did you ask about connecting or connect? I go, yeah, actually, I think I did use that term. And he's like, they went inside you. They connected. That's why they did that. I go, oh, okay. I just wanted a contact experience. He goes, I know that's what you meant. He goes, so I told him that's what he meant. He's like my protege. He's a young shaman. I'm training him, teaching him, I'll talk with him and let him, tell him to use his, words wisely and think about what he says next time. Because he goes, because they were going to take you on a little journey. And I said, no, you can't do that because, he got a family and he's got family and kid. I might have missing time for a long time and come back, something crazy. So he's like, I told him, no, you can't do that. So I go, oh, wow. Okay. I guess I'll be more, choose my words wisely. So I thought we had a live stream yesterday because you were talking to me about Thursdays, right? And I just messed it up and it was Friday just this once, so I put up Patreon, hey, Thursday, me and Woo Dude and JC and, Penny or whatever initially. And I'm like, last minute, I'm going, wow, what's and then you text something. I go, oh shit, let me look at his old text. Shit, it said Friday. I'm like, sorry, Woo Dude, we got his computer all ready yesterday. So we don't do it, right? So I'm just sitting there. I go, well, I got a few minutes. I go, let me just talk to Woo Dude about just some of this stuff, even though I already talked to him about it. And we're having a little conversation. And, he says to me, I want you to go to bed tonight. This is just Thursday night. He says, go to bed, listen to your music like you do, your whatever music you're listening to these days at night. You do your dream stuff. Ask for the Christ protection like I taught you, and ask to see or visit your higher self, like ask to connect with your higher self. And he goes, it could be a she, just so you know. It could be a she, could be a he. There's no telling who your higher self is till you meet him. I go, okay. So, and thank them and everything. And I said, all right. So I go to bed that night. I do exactly what he said. And I go to sleep. I wake up. It's like 4:35, I think, in the morning. And I walk into the bathroom, and of course I get up, and it's like, oh, little vertigo. And I go, son of a bitch. I'm like, still, damn it. So go in the bedroom, the bathroom, and I gotta go. So maybe that's what woke me up. But I woke up out of a dream that was just a dream, I think. And I didn't get the whole, I know this is an information thing. It was just a dream. And I was a little disappointed because I'm like, man, I was really wanting something bigger than that. And I've done it. At least give me a regular psychic dream would have been okay. But I was like, this is just a regular dream. But I was like, whatever, it is what it is. I'm not mad. So I start to head back to the bed, and I go, I'm tired. I'm going to go back to bed. And I go, oh, I think it's going to happen when I go back to bed. I just get this feeling like it's going to happen. Okay. So I go to bed, boom, I fall asleep. And I copied and pasted the email. So, I don't want to miss something that I sent to myself. So, I mentioned that Woo told me to do these things or whatever. So first dream, which is the one that was kind of meaningless, I was arrested for having a concealed carry gun on me and put in jail. But I explained I have an effing permit. Like, you can't. This is illegal. You can't arrest me. I have a permit. And didn't matter. Threw me in jail anyways. And then some people were in there like, we got arrested too for this is illegal. And if they did this to us, what else are they going to do? We're like, yeah, we're not sticking around. So we did a jailbreak and got out. My wife was there. She was like, Bonnie and Clyde. She was in the car waiting. I jump in the car and she takes off with the kids and me and all in there. And so that was the end of the dream. That's when I woke up, went to the bathroom, came back, went to sleep, and I go, I think I'm going to actually get something important. Something's going to happen tonight, So I wake up, whatever. That was a 4:35 thing. So sure enough, go to bed. I have a dream. Woo dude is telling me in the dream. Now, FYI, I've tried to connect with him a lot of times in my dreams over this whole last 2.5 years of him working with me. And I would ask and try, and he'd show up sometimes like, were you there? And I go, nah, I don't remember shit, or no. And he's like, all right. So I'm not asking anything for him tonight or last night. All of a sudden he's in my dream finally. He's there. First time ever. So he's there, and he says to me that I'm about to go on a journey. And if by chance I hear the following phrase, it's extremely important for me to hear this phrase if it's spoken to me. And essentially it meant something like, you made it finally to the big show. You're like, I don't even know how to put this in words. Like, whatever the hell, if you get that phrase tonight, dude, you just went up spiritually, shaman, whatever, like effing, you just, skipped the white belt and went to black belt or something. Like, it was just, that's the feeling and sense of the talk he gave me, but he didn't use any of those words. I don't know how else to describe this. So I'm like waiting to hear this damn phrase and hoping that I'll hear it, not expecting it. So next thing I know, I don't know if I'm on another planet. I don't know if I'm just in an alternate reality dimension. I'm somewhere, and I'm standing in a very big, campus, big school building. I didn't get the sense it was a college type of a thing, but more of like an elementary school, but huge and just beautiful. Very nice. And there's a man off to my side. I don't get to see him. So I don't know. Is that my higher self? Is that just someone helping me here? It's not. I didn't feel it like it was woo dude. And he kind of asked me what do you want to learn? What would you like to see or do here? So I asked him, do they have a science and technology area down there where they can teach, or where they teach anti-gravity or reverse gravity is how I worded it. Where they teach anti-gravity or reverse gravity. And he says, yes. So next thing I know, boom, I'm in a classroom. In the schoolroom. So the schoolroom reminds me of an elementary school, aged kids. even though I never, like, everybody was kind of a blur, like the beings. So I felt like these were different beings than us, but extremely similar. And I was very comfortable around them. And they're kids, like in the classroom being taught by an adult teacher who was also male. I never saw any female like adults. So they're elementary. It's like what I would call an elementary aged kids in a classroom. There's the teacher. I'm now standing next to him. I just popped in somehow after asking the other guy. So I didn't care that these were little kids, and I'm like this 44-year-old man who's going to learn the stuff they're learning because I already knew it was highly advanced. And I'm like, I don't give a damn. I'm happy to be here. So I asked the teacher, this male teacher, can I learn about anti-gravity or reverse gravity? Or maybe the word was negative gravity, not reverse gravity. And he tells me to go with that group of students over there. So they're already there. So I start walking over there, and there was in a corner. So I start to go there, and I'm about to go sit and get ready to have whatever's going to happen, teaching or whatever. As soon as I get there, he calls me back. Hey, Joe, come back. So I turn back around, start walking towards him, and I'm, several feet away, a few feet away from him. And as I get closer to him, I'm walking right up to him. He starts saying like a few words, and then he says the phrase, and I cannot and could not in the dream remember the phrase. I was like, I'm not allowed to even know what it was for some reason, even though I was told by woo dude in the dream, here's the phrase there if they say this. And I didn't remember it then. I didn't remember it when the teacher said it, but he's like, blah, 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 the phrase, blah, 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 blah. And I go, oh my God, can you please repeat that just a little like slower? Just say it again. I need to hear what you just said. I have to, he says, yeah, sure. So he starts to say it again. And I just can't remember it. So I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. One more time, please let me get my phone out because I brought my phone. I want to record what you're saying because this is so important. I have to know this, and I have to know the words you're using. I've got to hear it, and I can't remember. Like I need to record it. Do you mind? He goes, no, go ahead. So I look at my phone. I'm like, my phone works over here wherever I am. I'm like, do you guys have cell towers? Like over here, like. And I was like, oh, never mind. No, the cell is not working at all, but the phone works. I can turn it on. So I don't care. All I need is a video. So I'm like swiping up to get to my recording app, like video, and because I'll just video record it. All I want is the audio, but I don't care. And as soon as I start moving, like doing that, it starts getting like out of phase. The apps are like blurred and like scrambled, almost like the old school television when you would have to mess with the rabbit ears to get a good signal in the bad storm or something. It's all fuzzy and I can't even make out my apps. I go, well, I think where was my video? I think the video picture thing was up here. I'm trying to scroll up to it. It's just getting worse. And then it fades. And next thing I know, I'm out of that area, out of the school. I'm back in my house, but I'm still dreaming. So I'm still in the dream. I'm in my bed and my wife's there. And she is just like our 2-year-old, like kids, when you try to sleep with them and they're like kicking you in elbows and like all night long. And you're like, Jesus, like, man, they're like, you got a gigantic space over there. And they somehow find their way back to you. They're like, so she's like doing that in her sleep. And I'm like, I just got back and I'm like trying to lay down and go to sleep after this experience. And so I just kind of shove her like, stop, like, get over there. And then she stops. So I was like, oh, cool. So then I look over and I'm like, woo-woo dude's on the floor, like a blow-up mattress or like a separate bed down there that we dragged in for him, I guess. And I see his big-ass Sasquatch feet on the top of the bottom, like the base of my bed. He's like sleeping with his feet up. And I know it's him. And I'm like, well, they're still sleeping. I go, I'm not going to wake him up and tell him what happened. Like, I'll tell him in the morning. So I end up laying over here, put another pillow over my head to just whatever. And I just start sobbing and crying. And I'm trying to be so quiet because I'm like, I'm so such a mess right now. I'm going to wake them up, and I don't want to wake them up. And I can't stop sobbing and crying. But the sobbing and crying emotion that was going along at that time with it was so freaking powerful to me. And the information came with it. You heard the phrase. You got the phrase. Congratulations. Like, congratulations. I don't know what the hell it means. Other than it was super, super important for my spiritual growth to have this happen last night. I don't know what it was going to do to me exactly next, although I'll probably have some, I'll increase my I don't even know what do you call it? Shaman black belts or something? Like, you know, like I don't know what you want to call it. My skills of whatever's happening to me just get greater, more powerful. And I was just like so honored. It was such a like, oh my God, I'm crying, I'm sobbing. And it was because I got the achievement, so to speak. And this was like, I look back at a couple times where something not like this, but something happened in a dream where I go, oh my God, I just upgraded. Like I went up a notch or two. Like I skipped a notch and went up a couple. This was like so much more powerful or so much greater of a, call it achievement jump, an achievement jump. I'm having a hard time just picking the right words. That it was like, it's the big show, dude. That's why. But I'm going, okay, well, now what? I woke up and I was feeling very emotional when I woke up. So I brought it with me, just like a couple other times I'd had something where I had a little information like that came. So I was like, oh my God, woo dude, text him, give me a call when you get it this morning. He's like, I've been waiting on you for the last 10 minutes. I go, well, I was just explaining the whole story to my wife. That's probably why you were waiting on me. And so we ended up having a nice conversation about it. But that whole thing with the energy thing, I'm starting to feel this a lot more recently. Like I'm becoming sensitive to it. The vertigo thing, he explained to me, he goes, I went through that a long time ago in his process. And he goes, you're going to feel that. It's not you just having vertigo randomly now. This is because of what's happening to you lately. And it's going to keep going up. So you better be ready for the next stuff that's going to be happening to you. And I go, okay, well, I asked for this. I know. And like you told me, when you do it, you can't go back. So that's my whole giant story.
You know what's interesting, Joe, in all of that? We're in a second segment here. We're going to do astrological numerology on your soul essence and your soul mission. And a lot of this is going to make a lot of sense. So a lot of people are saying, wow, what the hell is this story all about? It's absolutely amazing. Janine picked this up yesterday as we were doing the tarot numerology course. And she says, don't you have a friend who like speaks about his dreams, JC? I'm like, yeah, it's JSNIP4. Anyway, so we were doing this reading and we said, oh shoot, JSNIP4 is going to be on the show tomorrow. I'm going to ask Julie to do the numerology on his soul essence and soul mission. And we also did it for Richard. All of this is going to make a lot of sense. Before we get to Julie here, Richard, what do you make of all of this here? This up leveling, this is a big theme. And the last Astro Woo, the energies that are hitting us also are asking us to do this up leveling process here individually, but also collectively. What do you want to share with the audience here and make it personal to them also, how they can recap from that and maybe use that to catapult themselves here to their particular next level as well? Richard.
Well, a couple of things that Joe might have left out there is I think it was about 2 years ago, I did a private drumming for Joe, and it was time for me to bring him to a sacred place, and which I did. And at that sacred place, I called in 2 of his relatives, okay? And he was there, and he just couldn't believe that they showed up. And it wasn't the relatives he thought, but it was mind-boggling to him. And that was the first step that I wanted him to take. And that's when I brought him through a doorway. All right, and I was there with him.
Richard, okay, just hold that thought. First step, a doorway. I'm getting people saying here they can't hear you. Can you bring your microphone up just a little bit? Not the speaker.
Closer to you.
Yeah, just the mic level up a little bit if you can.
Sorry.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead.
All right. And, this is all part of journeying to the other side and leaving your body. And so that was his first connection to knowing that, oh my God, this is real. Oh yeah, man. And while we were there, Joe takes off on me, and he goes into another realm. So I'm standing here on the other side. All right, let him go play around a little. That's when he left, and it was like a little kid in a candy store, like, holy shit! Not only Snickers, take a look at this Milky Way, as he's playing with the animals and stuff. So now we bring him to this time. And so last night I said, are you ready? I said, because you're going to go over tonight. And I wanted him to make sure he was totally protected and do things correctly. all right, and to go to the next level. And that's all these things that happened to him. So he crossed over. And it's very hard to explain things like this unless you've totally experienced them. All right. When you realize that this really is real. And it is when you leave your body and you go into these other dimensions. But like I said, you have to do it with a lot of respect. So this is over a 2-year period before I even allowed him to make this contact that he's done because of where he's going. And so this was a very huge thing. Now, I want to back up the ship on one other thing. Is when I first was talking to Joe a couple of years ago, and he wanted me to look into his treasure hunting places. He didn't tell me anything, nothing. And so I did. I just crossed over, went over there, and I said, oh, okay, this is protected by the spirit of the bear. Do you remember I said that to you, Joe?
Yeah.
And I said, the bear walks with you like the bear walks with me. All right. And so that's where the bear scenario came in. And it's a very interesting situation. My connection with the bear was a house that I purchased up where I am now, not the house I'm in. And when I walked in there, the first day I owned it, my daughter came in and I said, oh my God. I said, can you smell the fish? She said, yeah. I said, those rat bastards, did they leave some rotten food in here or something? That's all I'm thinking. And then the smell's gone. I go, weird. Right? 2 nights later, I'm laying in bed. Now, this will correspond to Joe. As I'm laying in bed, and I turn to my right, just laying there, and right here, literally inches from my face, I hear, and fish. I'm going, holy shit. I'm wide awake now. I'm not sleeping. I'm going, son of a bitch. You're the spirit of the bear. I said, hold on. That's the way I am. I'm like, Joe, I have to go to the bathroom. Then I come back, right? And I'm laying in bed talking to him. I go, all right, now listen. This seems a little wacky. You've got to prove it to me that you are the spirit of the bear and you're here to protect. No problem. The next morning, I had to go for a ride. I'm going down Route 31. And this black thing comes running out to the edge of the road and stops. It's a black bear. A real one. And he's just sitting there and he's watching me go by. I'm going, dude, you validated it. All right, I'm cool with that. I said, really? I go a little farther down. I get on 202. I'm heading down. And I look up. I go, you got it. Shit. The biggest bear I've ever seen standing on his 2 legs off of the highway. And he's just looking. I'm going, you guys really outdid yourself this time. So again, when you validate things, it's amazing what they can do. That night coming home, that first bear came running out of the woods, sat down to see me go by again. 3. Right? Isn't that a coincidence? Amazing. So the connection with the spirit of the bear became really huge as I bring in all my animals to protect that property and that land from anything negative. But that's exactly how the bear does it. And I'm telling you, it was this close. Most people would have freaked out, you know, especially when you're smelling it and stuff. But there was no fear there. It was like, dude, I know who you are. So, you know, you bring it all the way around. Now, Joe, the thing that happened to Joe happened to me, where an entity came into me. I call it a mild possession. All right. And my mistake was, it was the day before. I was out on the back porch in the middle of the day. I was trying to call in a UFO. I wanted it in the middle of the day, not seeing a white light. And I used to call them in all the time after drumming. Well, it's at night, so you see the light. All right. So I was out there for almost 2 hours trying to nothing, ready to give up, getting ready to walk in off my porch, and then I look up. I go, "You got to be shit." The shit comes middle of the day. I'm talking like 1 PM. Comes right over and stops above my condo, and it was not a disc; it was an orb. It was a silver orb, and it sat there. Then all of a sudden, I could talk to it. And we're just shooting the breeze. I'm all. You think I would have pulled out a camera for this one, right? Not yet. It's just you're so overwhelmed by it, and that's when I called. My son was upstairs playing video games, Nick, and I called him down. So he thinks he's in trouble or something. He comes down to the screen door on the porch, and I'm holding one finger. Now he's thinking, "Oh shit! What? What? What did I do? What did I do?" And then I do this. He comes out, he looks up. He came out with every swear word you could ever think of. He was so shocked. And I'm still talking to this thing. Okay? Still talking to it. It starts to go. And then I say, "Would you come back a little more so Nick could really watch it?" Turned around and came back and sat there. And then he told me he would come by. And he'd come by more often during the day. So that way people could actually see the shit. Now, this was the problem. I asked him, I said, "Yeah, come back and we'll really connect." See, that's the word Joe used, connect. And this was in the middle of the day, and something entered into me. I felt it come inside me. And I said out loud, I said, "Are you possessing me?" And he said, "No, I'm just going to share." I went, "Oh, all right." Oh, feel like you really got a choice here, right? And even when I went to work, okay, that was my own company. I'm up there. And it was like it was pressing certain buttons within me to see what it would do. It got so bad. I'm trying to have a meeting, and I couldn't stop laughing my ass off. I gotta go in my office. I shut the doors and I laughed for almost 2 hours because this being never felt anything like this, so things like that. Now, that same scenario, and I know I've said it to Joe before. The next night, if I remember right, I was laying in bed. Now, understand, I'm not sleeping, I'm awake. And then all of a sudden, I realized I couldn't move. I go, "What the hell is this shit?" And I'm laying on my side facing the window, so I can't see what's behind me. And then all of a sudden, I started to lift off of my bed. I swear to God, I freaked out, okay, because I wasn't in control of this. And I got lifted off my bed probably about 8 to 10 inches, maybe a little bit more. And I started floating, heading towards the windows. And I'm going, I said it just like this. I says, "I'm going to have a freaking heart attack here. Are you guys trying to kill me?" And I said that. I said, "You got to stop." And they put me down. Now, I still couldn't move, and I couldn't see who was doing it behind me. So then the next thing happens is I felt it lay behind me in the bed, and then one leg went into one of my legs. I'm going, "Oh shit!" And I still couldn't move. I'm freaking. And another leg went into my other leg. I'm going, "Oh my God!" And then I felt it come in. The whole lower torso of the body jolted into my body, and then it went up to my chest. And now, so you're feeling it adjusting and coming in. I'm really freaked out here. And then all of a sudden, I felt the back of my head smacking like I was trying to stick the head inside my head, and it wouldn't happen. That's when I called on and invoked the light of the Christ. All right. And when I did that, that stopped. Everything backed off, and then it disappeared. Weird shit, huh?
And now you got a bump on the back of your.
Well, that was the other thing. We were gonna hold Julianne and I were doing some sort of an exhibition up at the time at New Hampshire Metaphysical, and we had 4 or 5 Reiki masters. I'm talking people 20 years in it. And I really didn't want to discuss with any of them what had happened to me. But I was having some issues. And Julianne saw the thing on my neck, on the back. She says, holy shit, what the hell's in there? Right? So she told all the Reiki masters to get behind me and that I have an issue there. So they're all putting their energy into this thing that's there. And then all of a sudden I hear one of them saying, you guys see what I see? No, I'm not watching. They're all watching. They're going, holy shit. Right? And I said, okay, enough. I said, enough. I get up. I said, what the hell's wrong? I said, they were watching it as they were putting the energies on it. The thing would take off to the right or it'll take off to the left. It was moving like 4 to 5 inches at a time. And they're like, but I never told them what had happened. And so to this day, I still have that thing, which I've showed before, which I'm not going to show now, but it's just one of these things. And when I told Joe that the other night, say what you mean and mean what you say, same with spirit. They don't take sarcasm the way we do. And when you say the word connect, okay, that means connecting with each other. Okay. So you've got to say it differently. Would you show yourself to me? Would you come by with a craft? Or would you do this? And they will, but they don't go by our slang in any manner. So you be very, very careful. And then last night's experience with Joe, again, I had him go to his sacred place. All right. So that was the stepping point to go there first. So now when he did that, he was able to enter into the other dimensions, which he did, very successful. And I was there waiting for him.
Yeah, first time ever. I was shocked to see him there. And then he was waiting on me to come back, And so it's not like I came back in real life in my bed and my wife's there, he's on my floor. I was still in the dream coming back from the journey. So it was just like a double thing. I went in a dream, but then went and journeyed while in the dream, then came back to this other area in the dream in my room where he's waiting to make sure I come back. My wife's there. She's probably tossing, turning because I'm gone, because that's usually how she is anyways, which is what I thought of later. And I go, oh yeah, she's probably tossing and turning like crazy because I was gone, in the dream. But she was there. He's there. His big old Sasquatch. I mean, it's kind of funny. What the hell's his big feet doing on the bottom of my bed? I don't know, but he's sleeping like that. He must be doing some weird sleep maneuver. But that's what I saw. But then I just rolled over, started crying and sobbing like I was like out of control. I couldn't even stop because I realized what it meant of what just happened to me. But I still right now don't understand what exactly was the achievement or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But I know it was effing huge if I'm going to put a little label on it. I can say that.
It might have something to do with your life essence and your life mission. We'll get into that next. Well, thank you both of you for those amazing stories. I was reading the chat all along here. A lot of people were absolutely at the edge of their seat, fascinating by all this. A few people said, "Oh, that's a little bit scary." The
it is.
Connection. Go ahead, Joe.
It is. I mean, I'm ready for it. I can handle it. And then once again, okay, here they are in your, or it or whatever is in your room, and you asked to contact. And I'm like, no, not now. Let me go to sleep. And I'm like, I think about myself and where I'm at these days in that whole realm versus the average person. I'm going, oh my God, if this is somebody else, they would have had maybe a heart attack. And I go, wow, yeah, I understand. Like, okay, it takes time and stuff. I forgot. I do want to mention a quick dream I had like 4 dreams that night. I remember every single thing. And so the final dream, like after the main one happened, like, okay, I went into this other one and it was like, you know what? Congratulations. You've got your new belt. Let's give him a psychic dream now, a future event, just for a little bonus. So that's kind of how I felt. Maxine Waters. I am with Maxine Waters. Y'all know who she is, Congresswoman Filth. And I am her aide. one of her aides, her closest confidant aides that all these guys always have around them. And I was the main one she relied on. That was like any IT, computer stuff. Joe's the guy, that's his background. So she has to go somewhere, like bathroom or just somewhere. And I go, okay, I've got like at least, 5 minutes or something. And I'm either putting something on her laptop or extracting some stuff that, our recording software or something got. I'm extracting it or putting something on there. I'm basically an insider to her. She thinks I'm like her number one aide, can trust me with everything. And I'm an effing like, white hat in there collecting data like Hunter Biden laptop style. So I come out of this and I go, oh my God, there's going to be a Maxine Waters something. She's going to get busted. One of her aides was actually either does a whistleblowing thing or maybe was a white hat all along. Like, oh my God, this is going to be epic. They're going to have like maybe another Maxine Waters laptop thing. And it's not like Hunter with that terrible stuff, but maybe espionage, Chinese secrets, who God only knows. And I just woke up and I go, oh man, this is going to get good. So Woo Dude, you said to me about Maxine, remember? Tell them that. That was a couple weeks ago or so.
Oh, hold on, Richard. I had you on mute. There was an echo there.
There you go.
Go ahead, Richard. Sorry.
Yeah, a few weeks ago, they came to me and showed me her. And they said that she'll be taken down by her own hands, okay, by people that are close to her. And when he came out with this, I said, do you remember me saying that? And I didn't know if he remembered. I don't think he did.
Yeah, we were thinking maybe it's something like someone in the black community or like one of her black relatives or something like it was like one of her own kind.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. And then when he came forward with this, I went, holy shit. I've got to say one thing while we were just talking. The Howard Cosell thing, get ready to rumble. Do you know what that means? You're going to connect on Rumble to get this information. I went, get ready to rumble. So all this shit's going to come out that they may try to hide. I just went,
rumble.
I went, because he never used the word rumble and any of this other thing. That's more of a wrestling type thing.
Right.
And I'm going, and then while you guys are talking, they just said, no, understand this. I went,
that's the platform. That's the free speech platform. Okay.
We were just talking about that the other day. Joe Rogan had an interview also saying, yeah, they're growing really fast. They're paying big influencers to come over. But I think something is happening in the field where kind of like, remember in the early 2000s when everybody was on MySpace and then the next day everybody was on Facebook and MySpace was dead? This could be around the corner here for this platform. Fascinating. Okay, guys. You guys have been waiting here. This is amazing stories. And I think with the tarot numerology we're doing on both Richard and Joe, it'll shed some light here onto why these two are connected the way they are and perhaps why they're doing what they do. And it's absolutely fascinating. So I think, Julie, what I want to do, if it makes sense, why don't we do Richard's numerology first, and then we'll keep Joe for last, and then we'll have a conversation about how all this might actually connect and maybe share some of the wisdoms of how to do that with the audience. Let's start now. Let me bring up the slide for Richard. So first of all, before we get into that, explain briefly here how we got to these numbers. We just recorded this tarot numerology workshop. You guys can find that on BeyondMystic.academy. Julie, explain this very quickly, and then we'll get into the math here for Richard as well.
Okay, so using your birth date and year of birth, we're adding up numbers, and we're using tarot numerology, which uses numbers from 1 to 22. So doing calculations, very easy. I'll show you in just a bit. We come up to 2 tarot cards for a person. So first of all is going to be your soul essence tarot card. So the tarot card is going to explain the archetype of your soul. What let's say, regardless of the incarnation you are living at the present time. So the essence, the vibration of your soul throughout your whole set of incarnations. So that's going to be your first tarot card archetype. And then we calculate the other one, which is your life mission tarot card in this incarnation. So what you are striving for in this incarnation, what are your goals? What are you trying to develop, to learn about? So that's going to be your life mission tarot card. So that's fascinating. And I want to thank you both, Joe and Richard, for allowing me to look into your tarot numerology. I'm sure everybody's going to find this fascinating.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So ready to put the slide up now, Julie?
Yeah. Let's do
Okay.
this.
Let's start with Richard. I'll make sure I have the right one up here. Yes. Okay. So Richard, and as soon as I saw this, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes total sense. Okay. Julie, explain how we get to this, and then do you want to give me also the slides for the Hierophant and the star? That with the audience members as well, but start with the explanation here, and I'll see if I can pull them up on my side as well.
Okay, thanks. I'm not a great multitasker as you are.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, we start by your day. So Richard, you're born on the 8th. So we always start by the smallest time value, so which is day and then month and then year. So we add up all the numbers, let's say, of the year. So let's say you were born, and I'm just giving a random example, 1999. You're going to add up 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9. So you're going to add up to 28. And if the number is over 22, because we're using numbers from 1 to 22, then we're going to add up the numbers again. So 2 plus 8, and we're going to end up with 10 for this particular example. So I did the math already for Richard. So his day of birth is 8. So I put 8 in the box. And every time you write down a number in one box, you have to make sure it is between 1 and 22. And if it's above 22, you have to add those numbers to end up with a number between 1 and 22. So I hope this is clear. I just don't want to spend too much time on the calculations. But so for the soul essence card, I added 8 plus 3. So 11 plus 21. So we're at, did I do this correctly?
42?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So 32. Exactly. So because it's over 22, we're adding 3 plus 2, and we end up with 5. So this is the Hierophant card in the tarot for Richard's soul essence card. And then to find his life mission card, we're adding the day and the month boxes. So 8 plus 3 equals 11. And then 21 plus 3, so month plus year. So we end up with 24, which is above 22. So we add again 2 plus 4, and we end up with 6. And we add those two boxes at the bottom together, and we end up with 17, which is a very interesting number. And also the star card in the tarot for Richard's life mission card. So I find those two cards very fascinating. By the way, Richard, you have the same soul essence as Janine. So this is the spiritual teacher archetype. So basically, the Hierophant in the tarot is kind of very connected to source and very aware of its connection to source. Oh, thank you. So very strong connection. And the Hierophant is incarnated to be a channel, a channel to source, which Richard is doing amazingly well, of course. So, but because you have all this wisdom accumulated from past lifetimes and all sorts of experiences through incarnations, you are an evolved soul, and you have to share your wisdom. So also I find that a lot of people having this archetype are often off-world ancient soul, because you have accumulated so much knowledge and wisdom from all across the multiverse. So they usually have this kind of energy that's kind of off-worlder also. And of course, they are holding spiritual enlightenment keys for other people. So that's a very strong energy, strong spiritual energy, must I say. And combined with his life mission, which is going to make total sense to you, which is the star card. So the star card is the off-worlder energy. So it's kind of an ambassador for galactic beings. Also, anything you want to channel which is above our frequencies, above our density. So let's say 5D, 7D, 9D. So the star is a channeler for other densities, basically. So combined with the Hierophant, it's like a very powerful spiritual teacher that's here to bring higher frequencies, but also knowledge from the stars and knowledge from other frequencies and densities. Also, the life mission involved with the star is helping redistribute resources, because the star is connected with the sign of Aquarius in astrology, which is all about decentralization. So resources for everybody, equality for everybody, being able to tap into this divine energy directly, not having to go through a intermediary. And also, you're here to anchor this off-world energy and to help raise frequencies. So Richard's doing that through laughing, through his very light and solar personality. So I think that's for sure part of the star life mission. And the star card is also connected with healing abilities. So for sure, Richard probably doesn't need to do much. Just being somewhere, his presence is healing with his energy. But also part of the life mission, the star life mission, is developing your own energy healing abilities, because everybody who has this card as a life mission is going to have a bit of different type of abilities, different healing abilities. And of course, they're here to help bridge the gap with star families. So helping bring this knowledge about the stars, our star families, and channel galactic beings. So
Wow.
yeah.
That's amazing. And it makes a lot of sense to me, but I wanted to hear first from Joe, and then I'll ask you, Richard, how this resonates from you. Joe, your experience going through this huge up-leveling over the last couple of years here, working directly with Richard. What do you make of this astrology, numerology for him here?
Oh yeah, it sounds pretty much spot on. I mean, I don't even know if you could pick something, if some other card would have came out and said something, more powerful than what that just did.
Yeah.
That would be him. So yeah, it's pretty amazing that can kind of drill down to that kind of level. And
And you know what's interesting also, once you learn how to do this and you have the definitions of all the cards, it's interesting to do it yourself, because again, in terms of self-mastery, knowing thyself, that's where it comes from. But in terms of having better relationships also with other people and understanding what makes them tick, this is really, really a cool show. We're really happy to put this workshop together. Richard, what do you make of this? How do you resonate with both of these Soul Essence card and Life Missions card here?
Well, it's very interesting that it does connect a lot of dots with certain things. Even going back to quite a few years ago when we used to do channeling classes and stuff, and for whatever reason, I was able to channel a whole council of 12.
Wow.
Wasn't knew what they were all about, but each one of them would come to me, and when I did the channeling in front of a lot of people, as these beings entered me, I would be talking in a low voice like a man, and all of a sudden I'm talking like a woman, and each one of them would give certain information out, and it was astounding. By the way, that's where the blue heads came from. No, really.
Wow.
And at the time, I'm going, the blue heads. Then I realized it was the blue heads, the UN.
Wow.
But just amazing. And this is the other thing. I was just a normal dude, man. Raising my family, sports, all the kids. Never followed any of this stuff. Never asked for it in any manner. Okay, until that one night. And that's when it all happened, when I went into my daughter's room and stayed there, and she stayed in my room. From that point on, is unbelievable. So when I'm watching Joe, I'm trying to be very, very careful with him because it's very easy. You know, so many people say, "Oh, I can handle it." Actually, you probably can't. And when you open up the door, you can't shut it. And also it is baby steps. And when you see and you feel these things in your body and the change, I mean, everybody has been watching Joe over the last 2 years, and he's changed. And the thing is the reason that they put me in touch with him, and I even said, he's never going to look at my email. He must get thousands of them. They said, we'll take care of that. I go, all right. And it did. But they said that he was full of light and that it was very important for him to be taught. Okay. And they said for me to protect him. And they said, I said, okay. And then it just grew. And because of Joe, they said, Joseph needs to learn that this is real. And because you can't bullshit somebody like Joe, because he will dig that stuff up on. All right. So they had me do things to him that he has never seen before. And they said, we know what will get his attention. And that was the cryptocurrencies.
Right.
And they had to bitch slap him a couple times. He says, I've never seen anything like this before. Well, watch 4 o'clock, Joe. Freaking Joe. Is that Eastern Standard Time? Yes, Joe, it is.
Okay, we're all excited now to do the numerology for Joe and perhaps get a better understanding of what makes him tick. Now, I've had the opportunity to spend large amounts of time with Joe, of course, in the desert, in solitude, but also driving in a car across, most of the United States, listening to music, singing, laughing, and peeing in our pants because we're having so much fun. So I have a good inkling here. And looking at these numerology cards as well, is like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay, Julie, without any further ado, let's do the math here on Joe and share this with the audience.
Yeah, so you're going to see that Richard and Joe are very different as archetypes and energies, and that's why they were guided probably to work together, because they complement each other. And you'll see that one is helping the other, but very different archetypes. So for Joe, his soul essence card is the Emperor, which is number 4, and his life mission card is the Chariot. And this is my soul essence card, by the way. This is the Chariot. So we have that in common, different place. So very interesting, because the Emperor as a soul essence is all about holding the keys for the divine masculine energy. So and how the divine masculine energy expresses itself when it is living in incarnation is through building structures, protecting others, but also harnessing material success. So Joe already had those keys before incarnating. So he knew how to be successful, how to have material abundance. And he's also there to teach other people those keys in holding these abundance frequencies. So it's part of this divine masculine energy that he's holding. So the divine masculine energy is also a builder of structures. He oversees the building processes in this new earth transition. So the divine masculine is also there to protect the divine feminine energy, the intuition, the wisdom, the knowledge, the ancient knowledge. The divine masculine is there to protect. So that includes also the earth. So I wrote planetary protector. So the divine masculine is there to protect everything, to protect the knowledge, the ancient knowledge, the earth, the frequencies, the grid. And it's a big time spiritual warrior energy. And it fits perfectly with the other card, which is his life mission, which is the Chariot, which is also a spiritual warrior energy. So the Chariot as a life mission is very driven, very ambitious, and also very mission focused. So in this incarnation, Joe is on a mission. So part of his life mission is also self-control, emotional mastery, becoming a master of self, Also learning courage, being self-relying as of material resources also. So as you can notice on the card, the Chariot character has an armor. So it means that he's very focused on mission. And part of the life mission is not getting yourself be distracted by all that can happen while you are living this incarnation. He is very focused on what he's here to do, which is his spiritual warrior mission. So I said driven, ambitious, self-motivated. Also, a big theme about the Chariot is fighting for your personal integrity. So fighting for your values, what you believe in, being very driven. And another theme about the Chariot is being in constant movement and evolution. So he moves fast. He's in a constant evolution. So he likes to evolve also spiritually very fast. He likes when things are not stagnant, very much fast moving, fast paced. And also the Chariot is related to driving your car, doing road trips. So it's funny that you guys experienced that together. But yeah, it's a very focused and spiritual warrior type of energy.
Yeah, it's really cool you say that also, because I was looking at it. Joe, I'll ask you last. I'm going to ask Richard first, and then you're going to have the last word here. For me, of course, the Emperor card, the King card. This is also, of course, what the Native American medicine woman was calling Joe. He was one of the three kings. Like, so that whole idea of him having these keys of abundance, of protecting the people, this is very much in his lineage. And it's also giving him hints on what he's doing here now for the treasure hunt also, and how the redistribution of power and building these structures here for the New Yorkers has something to do with his life mission. In terms of the life mission, I remember an old Webbot data report where Clefai said, yeah, it's Enterprise Joe. He just keeps going and going and going. I'm like, yeah, pretty much that's his energy for sure. Richard, looking at this also, these two cards for Joe, how do you experience Joe personally, and what do you want to share with the audience members here on how this numerology really pinpoints both his characteristics in terms of the soul essence, but also his life mission?
Is because he's like a light bearer, and it's very hard to find people that you can listen to on YouTube or anything that truly comes from their heart. All right. So what you see is what you get. He really does care about everybody. And that was the other reason they wanted me to connect with him. You know, I've got to say something that they just brought forward to me that Julie brought up, and it is kind of mind-boggling. So I'm gonna tell you something. Quite a few years ago, I was very, very blessed. Yeah, you've all heard of the crystal skulls, the real ones, right? Okay. So when I was going through this crazy growth period, that was just one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other. All of a sudden, poof, I'm invited to see Max, the crystal skull, the real McCoy. And I says, dude, okay. They set it all up. I went to see this thing, but the person that handles it, okay, it's like nobody has the ownership. It needs to go places for certain reasons. So I was able to go to this private showing, and in turn, I was able to go into a room by myself with nobody and be with Max. And I'll never forget it. Now, the skull's bigger than my head. Like, I mean, it's not that my head's that big, okay?
You sure about that?
I don't know. You told everybody about my feet, Joe. What the hell?
People usually tell me I have the big head, but keep going.
Oh my God. And so I spent a half hour with Max alone, and I put my hands on it, and I went in. And it was totally freaking mind-boggling. I mean, I left, I'm gone, you know, and I'm going into other worlds. All right. I finally come back and go, holy shit. They gave me extra time because I saw I was gone. Right. So that brings the cosmic aspect into it. That was a strange thing. And then a couple years later, when I met up with Julianne, I called her up. I said, hey, I've been invited. Do you want to go? I said, Max is back. She goes, oh, yeah. Like Joe. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll do it. So, no problem. So we go. And I'm upstairs talking. And Julianne, go down and see Max. I go, she's gone for a while. I go downstairs. I said, frickin' Julianne. She's got her head, eyes wide open, and she's talking a frickin' language that I don't understand. She's totally in this thing and letting it come out of her. You know, I mean, you just sit there and go, dude, we got to give her an extra 15 minutes there. But again, you know, getting connected with things like that corresponds with everything of what you just said. I just sat there and went, dude, okay. Like, what are you going to say? You know, it's a remarkable thing.
Yeah,
but spirit, the other beings really love Joe because he is of truth. He really is. And he really, really cares. Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing and a rare thing. But right now, this is what we needed because of the crossing of the planets, the vibrational change that's occurring, and it's scientifically happening. All right. The things that you're seeing with the sun now, I told you this was going to happen. It is happening. All right. But this is the change of all humanity. Okay. And here we all are. All right. To help bring this in. And it really is about love, compassion, and forgiveness. You know, like I said about Christ. Christ was the last key carrier. He had the key to all the kingdoms, and he wanted to show us. It wasn't religious. All right, it's to show us the way. All right. And this battle's been going on a long time. And here we are. All right. We need to keep a clear heart and be really, really kind. All right. And go forward through this. Don't fear this. All right. Just go forward with this. This is the great change. And it's an incredible honor that we're here and awake to be here for this mission. All right. It's a huge spiritual war. And we're in it. But it's a beautiful thing. You know, stay in the game, be kind. Try not to shadow your heart with darkness, because there's a lot of beings trying to come in right now that are looking for a vessel, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And this is why I say you don't do this haphazardly. You know, you got to protect yourself. It's no freaking joke. Okay. But it is true. It is real. And many, many people that are listening here are very, very old souls. And they're here for this. They just got to be awakened and understand who they really are. And that's what I try to do when I speak with people around the world. You know, they show me who they are, and then I have the understanding, and it's to give them that little leap, because they are. This is a worldwide thing, and it's a beautiful thing. It truly is. Don't forget to come to my bar when you get to the other side, though.
We'll share the address with everyone in the link box.
You're gonna need a drink.
It's just a little tricky on how to get there. All right, Joe.
No, it isn't.
Joe, seeing this for the first time too, hearing the definitions here for the Emperor and the Chariot, and also going through all the big transformation you are too. I know this is hitting you at a personal level. What do you want to share with the audience, both in terms of what this means for you, but what potentially it could mean for them also to do the work, to put the hours in, and to really strive for better self-mastery? Go ahead, Joe.
Well, I think one of the things I thought I saw in there was something about observed builders or something.
Overseeing building.
Overseeing building. Yeah, that one. When I saw that, it brought me back to an old memory. Me, you, and Dave on the mountain, you guys are doing most of the work. I'm JSNIP foreman.
I still have the.
I'm a great overseer of work. But in all seriousness, again, I look at all these things and it's just, you know, the weird thing is like none of this for either Woo Woo Dude, myself, it would not make sense if we were kids and you came out and pulled this on us. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? We're going to play video games. Like, we're going to ride our bikes. What is this? But, you know, you get a certain age in life and spirit's like, okay, now it's time. You don't even really know. It's just, it happens. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're typically an adult, well into your adulthood, you know, typically. And then even when it's happening, I still don't think you really know it until way later. Like I am, you know, 2.5 years after Woo Woo Dude, but I was already seeing weird little things with JC out in ESETI in 2018 and all that stuff, you know, and then the mountain and all that. So yeah, I mean, now I can go back and look and go, okay, well, I know where I am. I know where I've been. I kind of know where I'm going. And so you put these things on the screen and I go, well, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, I remember looking up my full name, first name, middle name, last name on Gematria. And one of the top ones came up. It said Ascended Grand Master of Ascended Masters. And I go, whoa. I wasn't like, did I tap my name right? I'm like, yeah, I did. I have an extremely unique middle name and last name. And I was just like, nah, what? Like, come on, what is that? You know, but I'm like, you know, give yourself a few years, you know, or several years. You know, you never know where you're going to be after Woo Woo Dude's done with you. So I don't know.
Wow. Cool. Well, Julie, there's a couple of questions in the chat, and what Joe's saying out too, we did address this in the workshop because for some people watching this or reading that or doing the numerology for themselves, they look at it like, well, that's not really me. And for the most cases, that's probably because you haven't entered your life mission yet. You're doing the training to eventually get to that in some cases. In some other cases, people might be on lockdown. They might have had these huge energies in past lifetimes and may not have used them appropriately. So in this lifetime, until such time as they get to the maturity to use that and to step into their mission, those things may be locked to them. So explain to them here how we put this course together, what they can find here on the Tarot Numerology course if people are interested in getting that for themselves.
Yeah, so we put together a tarot numerology workshop because we got a lot of questions from people asking, what does it mean if I'm this card? So we go through all 22 cards of the major arcana of the tarot and explaining what means each archetype, what they mean in accordance of the soul essence and the life mission. Because you're going to see in this workshop that all archetypes are very different from each other. And we're all incarnated right now to help through this big shift, this big change that we're going through, but we all have different missions in this shift. So these archetypes are like the keys of what are you here to do exactly in this period of change, in this shift. And you were talking about being activated or not, and I totally agree with you, JC, because I feel like if you're not awakened spiritually, then you're not going to really understand those archetypes in a deep way. And I feel like the first Saturn return that people usually experience, it's around 30 years old. So this is kind of your first activation. And you also have free will around 30 years old. Do you want to take those responsibilities or of moving into your life mission, or do you want to try to avoid them? So that's the first activation point. And the second is usually around 37, where you have your nodes return. So your mission is even more activated. And then you have your second Saturn return around 60 years old. So I feel like these are all key points throughout your life where the universe is giving you opportunities to awaken, but it's up to you if you take it or not, of course.
All right. Your mission, if you choose to accept it. Speaking of choosing to accept it, we are offering you guys an amazing discount for you guys. Explain to the audience here the coupon code, Julie, and how long that's lasting, specifically here for the Wacky Woo audience and the JSNIP4 audience. What do you have for them?
Yeah, we put a very special promotion, 33% off the Tarot Numerology, which is $33 regular price. Coupon code is WACKY33, and it's only 2 days for all the amazing people watching this show right now. So I very excited about this workshop. I was very proud of it when we finished recording it. I was like, wow, there's a lot of wisdom there. So yeah.
Right. Absolutely. BeyondMystic.academy is the address. I'll bring the links in the description box below, as well as the coupon codes WACKY33. And if you type that in, you'll realize that the price comes out to 22. Joe, what the hell's going on with the 22 or the 222 parables? Let's end on that. Let's give a few maybe insights here as we end the show. We're at an hour 45 minutes in, so let's try to end this in the next 15 minutes. I'll give you and Richard here the final words. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, that 2-2 has not really let us down this year, has it? 2022, the 2-2s are everywhere constantly. And, again, I think the big finale, I mean, again, it's not, if I'm guessing, it's this year. It's the year of the 22. And the amount of times I've seen that this year compared to last year, I was just like, it's like, hello, this is the year. Which Richard with his Black Swan getting shot out of the sky, Black Swan, like, we've already seen a couple. So it's like, man, and again, I got the Maxine Waters thing. And like, it's going to happen. I think, it drips at first and then it starts pouring. And I'm just thinking, just like I think Ezra Cohen on Telegram or one of those insiders had said, it's going to be a hot August and a something September and a red October, like the next 3 months are going to be the shit, But I would say someone asked in this, and you can answer this whenever you want, if you even want to. But someone's like, "How did you guys meet, Joe and JC? Like, how did you even meet Joe?" So I thought, well, that's a quick story. I think
it's a long story.
Well, the early beginning part, you saw me on YouTube, and
I met Joe on YouTube like 12 years ago or so. And when I heard his voice the first time, and I wasn't watching, I usually watch 4 or 5 things at the same time. I consume a lot of data really quickly. And so I wasn't watching the video, but I was hearing him speak in one of the windows. And I was like, Sarah, I know that guy. Who's that guy? And so I was looking through the windows to get to the windows where you were talking. I was like, he looks kind of funny. But I know that guy. I'm going to do something with that guy. I just knew. So anyways, years later, eventually, I went to Florida and we just eventually connected and we hit it off. You were interested in these cities. So I brought you with your wife and Sarah to East City after that. And that just catapulted us to this huge spiritual adventure and treasure hunt together. And of course, lots more in there. But guys, you should look at, if you go to my Rumble, there's a backup channel where I had those first videos. They were called 3 Dudes in the Desert. And no, it's not a gay show, but it's me, Joe, and Dave in the desert having fun with all of this spiritual stuff. And we explain a lot of these storyboards. Okay, Joe, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Guys, go check out Joe at patreon.com/JSNIP4 if you're looking to get a handle here on some of this weird crypto ups and downs, crocodile teeth, as Cliff High is talking about, and how to get maybe an edge on all of that. Please, again, I'll bring the link up in a second here, but patreon.com/JSNIP4. Now, Richard, before we go tonight, again, there's that 222. You've been saying here over the last couple of months that when this goes down, it's all going down together. And Joe kind of just alluded to that. So for the audience members who are maybe watching this for the first time, what do you mean by all that? It's all going to go down together, Richard.
Well, everything is joining. And I don't care where you are in the world. It's all coming to a head. But, that last vision where the duck hunters and the flying swans started to come down, and they said till hell freezes over, we'll be shooting these down. So we're going to be running through a lot of things here, right into and through winter. So understand this. This is not like one event and then there it isn't. It isn't. Okay. And anything that occurs in this month of August, like remember what I said, it's going to snowball and become larger no matter what it was. You go, oh, we got away with that. All right. No, we didn't. It's going to become bigger as we roll into September. All right. So this is going to go from September, October, right into the winter. And we're going to be dealing with things around the world. A lot of problems. Just remember, the dark side's not going to just roll over like a puppy dog and say, rub my belly and I'll go away. All right. So they've been here for a couple thousand years. And now it's coming to this point of time that, again, as I was told it's coinciding with the words that they use is the crossing of the planet. Okay. And it's all happening. We all have to be smart. We all have to prepare and, and go forward. The 222 thing is real, is real. From the moment that it started, I knew it. And, they kept saying that we're all going to need discernment with this and understanding, because it's way bigger than you all understand when it first started to happen, and boy, oh boy, right down to some of the shows I did with you where I ended up at that church. I mean, you can't make that up. I'm here for the 222 parable. That minister looked at me like, oh, Jesus, let's get this guy out of here quick. I said, no, they told me it's here. They told me it's here. And I said, no, it's not. And then, you guys know the story. And then there it was, right behind the pulpit. So what they've explained to me is we are in Revelations. Revelations has happened before. It's happening again. There's nothing new under the sun. Okay? It's the great revealing, and it's the step forward to becoming the change and the vibration. So this is where we are. And the amazing thing, they really want us to make it through this to help bring this in. And, show your light, and spirit will send them to you. Okay? And we got, you know what? I don't care what country you're in. It's a community. We have to work together. We really do. When somebody's down, put your hand down and help them up. Okay? That's where we are. Come from love on everything. That's what it's all about. It really is. And I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, no matter what they do, it's a mirror of protection. It's going to reflect back onto them. So no matter what they do, the opposite will happen. It'll fall on them. And then we all sit there and go, dude, what an asshole. Well, now we know who you are. So the thing is, do you actually think that all these politicians wanted everybody in their country to know who they are? Do you actually think so? No. So there's no place for any of them to hide. It's the great revealing. Freaking awesome.
Yeah. The big ugly, as Cliffy says. Hey, Likecoin Lisa's in the chat. She says, love you dudes. I love you too, Lisa. Go check her out. Likecoin Lisa on YouTube. She does amazing work. Esmeralda, JC, please say hi to Cliff. We miss him too. You guys can go check him out. He's on BitChute, bitchute.com/Cliff_hi. He's also on Substack. He's putting stuff out almost on a regular basis. So go check him out. He's really cool. But yes, I will say hi for you. Last but not least, let me bring this one back up. I had Joe up here for a second here, but let me bring up Richard's channel again. A lot of people in the chat were saying they want to have a reading with Richard. You can do so at woowoodude.com. And of course, for Joe, it's patreon.com/JSNIP4. Julie, as we end the show, can you pull an oracle card also to share the energy of the collective here moving into the month of September? What can they expect, Julie?
Yeah, so I already pulled an oracle card. So this one is healing past lifetimes, timelines, but also lifetimes. So it says healing past timelines, Atlantis energy, learning from the past, history repeats itself. So I feel like it has to do a lot with what Richard was just saying. It's like we're going over this repeat of history where the earth could blow out, but we're kind of making different changes this time around. So we're healing a lot of the past, our personal past, but also the collective past of the earth. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of healing in order to move to a different timeline. Because, I'm hearing different timeline for September. So healing a lot, trying to move away from what we experienced before in Atlantis and making different choices this time around.
Wow. Really cool. Thank you so much. And Mary says, thank you, JC, JSNIP, Julie, and Richard. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, Mary. You can find Julie's work also here at maisonjupiter.com on the web. There, she produces these amazing personalized birth charts. If you're looking to glean a little bit more information on how all of these astrological bodies affect you in these particular trying times, do give it a try. Beyond Mystic is the coupon code there. You'll get 10% off of the birth charts. One last time here, also the WACKY 33 is the coupon code for the Tarot Numerology Workshop. It's available now on BeyondMystic.Academy. And last but not least, again, please go and support Joe here. Hey, Joe, just very quickly here, there's a lot of people coming into the crypto. Take 2 minutes here to explain also what's happening with the JSNIP4 Elite package. There's a lot of new people here. They're getting all of this. They can get everything in the middle package, but if they need a little bit more help, what do you have for them here on the JSNIP4 Elite package?
Yes. A lot of people have questions for me, typically about crypto stuff. Although it could be anything, honestly, it could be a spiritual question technically, but it seems like it's mostly crypto. And they just want, they want a response. They don't want to have to go into the comment section and someone else answer them. They want to talk to me. So, it's a guaranteed response from me, and I'll try to help you with something if I can, but I'm not going to get too crazy and spend an hour with you on something or whatever. But, sometimes they want a portfolio review, things like that. And it's that sort of thing. So, but if you just want to sit back and wait for my next woo-woo dream of what crypto to move, that's going to move, or a price or something, or really anything on my channel, it's just the middle package. That's $20 a month or whatever. So that's it.
Okay, very good. So guys, check it out, patreon.com/JSNIP4. And if you're looking at getting into crypto, you haven't done so already, Joe and I put out this amazing course for you guys called the Beyond Crypto Panic to Own. Of course, this was relating to the Webbot data that we suggest that we're entering in this time now, and people would suddenly wake up to the fact that they need to educate themselves. So if you want to check that out, that is also available now on BeyondMystic.net. Guys, this was the Wacky Woo edition. Where's my poster? Where did it go? Too many things happening at once. Okay, I can't find it. All right. So it's a little wacky for this Saturday night. Thank you so much for being here. I absolutely love you guys. Please remember to go like, share, and subscribe on Joe's JSNIP4 2 channel. He's rebuilding his community there also. Perhaps for now, before he gets ready to rumble, we shall see. In the meantime, please remember to like, share, and subscribe here also on my Beyond Mystic 3 backup channel. I love you guys. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon. Au revoir.
Au revoir.